You're the smartest person in every room you've ever entered. You've known this since you were 12, not because someone told you, nobody tells you anything useful, but because you can feel it, the way a knife feels the difference between wood and air. Mathematics opens for you the way doors open for other people, effortlessly, before you even reach for the handle. It's 1820s France. Revolution is in the walls. The king is weak, the Republicans are restless, and the streets of Paris smell like gunpowder and yesterday's bread. You're born in Bourg-Lorraine, just south of Paris. Your father is the mayor. Your mother is a classicist who teaches you Latin and Greek before you can properly tie your shoes. The house is full of books and ideas, and for the first 12 years of your life, it's enough. It won't stay enough. You're 12 when they send you to school, and you're bored within the week. Not bored the way restless children are bored. Bored the way a racehorse is bored tied to a fence post. The teachers recite things you already know. The other students take notes while you stare out the window, reworking problems in your head that your textbooks haven't reached yet. Then, at 14, a teacher hands you a copy of Adrien Marie Legendre's Elements de Géométrie, a geometry textbook. Dense, dry, meant to be studied over months. You read it in 2 days. Not skim it, read it, understand it, absorb it the way stone absorbs water, completely and permanently. Your teacher notes that you have, quote, a mania for mathematics. That's one word for it. You're 15 when you first touch real algebra, the kind that lives at the edge of what's been solved. You find a paper by mathematician Niels Abel on the quintic equation, a problem that has stumped mathematicians for 2 centuries. Whether a fifth-degree polynomial can always be solved using a simple formula. Abel proved it can't. The proof is 60 pages long and took him years. You read it in an afternoon. Then you improve on it. Then you go further. Then you open a door in the back of the room that Abel didn't know was there. You're 15. You have no idea yet that you'll be dead in 5 years. At 16, you apply to the École Polytechnique, the most prestigious mathematics institution in France, maybe the world. You fail the entrance exam, not because you don't know the answers. The examiners ask you to explain your reasoning, and you can't do it. Not because the reasoning isn't there. It's all there, crystalline and complete in your head, but because you can't understand why they need you to show the steps. To you, the steps are obvious, insulting to write out. The examiner asks you a question. You answer it with a question back. He doesn't find this charming. You fail the exam. Solid start. You're 17 when your father dies. Nicolas Gabriel Galois had been a gentle, idealistic man, the kind of mayor who genuinely believed he could make things better. His political enemies disagreed. They planted forged epigrams around town, fake verses, crude and obscene, signed with your father's name. The town turned on him. He drove to Paris and checked into a hotel room and did not come back out. You bury him. You stand at the grave in the July heat, surrounded by mourners, and you feel something close over in you. A door. Not the good kind, the kind that opens onto mathematics, but a heavier one. Something behind your sternum. You go home and keep working. Not because grief is easy, because it's the only room in your head where no one can follow you. At 17, you try to publish. Your first paper, submitted to the Academy of Sciences, goes to the mathematician Augustin Louis Cauchy. Cauchy is a genius in his own right and legendary for being difficult. He loses your paper. Possibly at home, possibly forever. You'll never know. You submit again, this time to the Academy's secretary, Joseph Fourier. Fourier reads your work, is impressed enough to consider it for the grand prize in mathematics. Then Fourier dies. Your paper dies with him, lost in the shuffle of a dead man's desk. You're 18. Your life's work has now been lost twice by France's most eminent mathematicians. You learn to write in smaller handwriting, pack more ideas per page, just in case. You take the entrance exam for the École Polytechnique again at 18. This time, an examiner named DNA challenges you on the details, asks you to explain something you find childishly simple. You tell him, with the patience of a man watching someone try to open a door by pushing on the hinges, that the answer is obvious. DNA doesn't find this charming either. When the oral examination goes badly, you throw the board eraser at the examiner. You fail again. The door to the Polytechnique closes permanently. You will never study there. Great. You enroll instead in the École Normale, a lesser school. You are good enough to pass the entrance exam for it without trying very hard, which means you spend most of your time ignoring the curriculum and working on problems the curriculum hasn't imagined yet. You submit a third paper to the Academy of Sciences. Simeon Denis Poisson receives it this time. Poisson is third, careful, not unkind. He reads your work and writes back, incomprehensible. He's not wrong that he doesn't understand it. He's catastrophically wrong about what that means. You are developing, in these notebooks and scraps and margins, what will eventually be called Galois theory, a framework for understanding which polynomial equations can be solved, and why, and under what conditions. You are inventing an entirely new branch of mathematics called group theory. You are doing this alone, in your bedroom, in a school you don't particularly respect, before you can legally drink. Poisson says it's incomprehensible. You say Poisson is an idiot. You're probably right. This doesn't help. You're 19 and France is burning. July 2018, the July Revolution. King Charles X tries to seize absolute power. The streets of Paris erupt. 3 days of street fighting and suddenly the king is gone. A new king, Louis Philippe, takes the throne, and the Republicans who hoped for a republic feel cheated. You are a Republican, have been since your father's death cemented a contempt for power that plays favorites. You write a letter published in a radical newspaper attacking the director of the École Normale by name, accusing him of cowardice for keeping students indoors during the revolution. The École Normale expels you. You're 20 years old. No prestigious school, no publisher, no academy, no political allies with any power. You have your notebooks. You get arrested twice in the next year. The first time, at a banquet of Republicans, you stand up holding a glass and a dagger and give a toast that is, depending on who you ask, either a vague threat to the king or an unmistakable one. You spend several months in prison. The food is bad, the company is worse. You get sick, nearly die of a cholera outbreak. You survive. You're not sure how you feel about that. The second arrest is for wearing a banned military uniform in public. More prison, more bad food. In between, you keep working. In margins of letters, on scraps of paper, in whatever space is available. The mathematics doesn't care that France is falling apart. The mathematics doesn't care that you're 20 years old and out of options, and angrier than anyone you know. The mathematics just keeps opening. In the spring of 1832, you fall in love. Her name may have been Stephanie. You'll never write it clearly enough in your letters for historians to be certain. She's the daughter of a prison doctor, which means you meet her while technically incarcerated, which is its own particular kind of irony. She doesn't love you back. Or she does and then withdraws it. The letters are unclear. Yours are frantic. Hers are cautious and growing distant. A man named Péchot d'Erhanville challenges you to a duel. The exact cause remains disputed. Politics maybe, the woman possibly, honor in the vague, stupid way that honor gets invoked when men want to shoot each other. You accept. The night before the duel, you sit down with your notebooks. You write all night. Not because you're afraid, though you might be. Not because you're trying to leave something behind, though you are. You write because the mathematics isn't finished. You've been carrying these ideas for years, and no one understands them yet, and the examiner who called them incomprehensible is out there somewhere, still wrong, and you will not let the pistol win before the mathematics does. You write 60 pages in one night with a shaking hand and multiple false starts and notes in the margins that say, in French, "I don't have time." You sketch theorems you haven't fully proven. You gesture at entire fields you've glimpsed but not mapped. You write the framework for group theory, for what will become Galois theory, for the solution to problems mathematicians have argued about for 3 centuries. In the margins, scattered through the proofs, "I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time." Then you seal the papers in an envelope addressed to your friend Auguste Chevalier and go to bed for a few hours. In the morning, you go to the field. You're 20 years old. The pistols are loaded. The grass is wet from the night before. You can smell it. green and cold, the way mornings smell when your body knows it might be the last one. The shot hits you in the abdomen. Not fatal immediately. Nothing is fatal immediately in the abdomen. You lie in the grass for hours before anyone carries you to a hospital. You die the next day, May 31st, 1832. Your brother is with you at the end. You tell him not to cry. Don't weep, Alfred. I need all my courage to die at 20. The papers sit in an envelope for 14 years. Chevalier publishes some of them in 1843. The mathematician Joseph Liouville reads them, understands them, spends months verifying and organizing. In 1846, he publishes your work in full. The mathematical community reads what you left and goes quiet for a long moment. Then they go back and look at everything, every door that closed, every examiner who called your work incomprehensible, Cauchy's lost paper, Fourier's lost paper, Poisson's dismissal, and they understand what happened. You were right, the whole time, about all of it. Not just technically right, decades ahead of everyone right. The mathematics you invented in the margins of prison letters, the group theory you developed before you could vote, the framework you sketched in 60 sleepless pages, it becomes one of the foundational pillars of modern abstract algebra. It reshapes how mathematicians think about symmetry, about what equations mean, about the deep structure of numbers themselves. Every time someone solves an equation today, in physics, in cryptography, in computer science, somewhere in the machinery is a piece of what you wrote the night before the duel. Galois theory is now taught in every serious mathematics program on Earth. Your name is in the textbooks. Named theorems, named concepts, named fields of study. The examiner who failed you is not. You wonder sometimes, or you would if you had time, whether the fury was worth it. The fights, the arrests, the thrown eraser, the burned bridges with every institution that might have helped you. Maybe a quieter genius would have lived to 40 and published everything properly and died celebrated. Maybe. Or maybe the ideas needed exactly the kind of mind that couldn't be taught to stay quiet. There's no answer. There never is. You died at 20, certain the world was too slow to understand you. You were right. That had to be enough.